In 1963, a routine archaeological survey in southeastern Turkey stumbled upon something that would force us to rewrite human history. But it wasn't until 1994, when German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt began excavations, that the true magnitude of this discovery became clear. Welcome to Göbekli Tepe, a site that predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years, the Egyptian pyramids by 7,000 years, and even the invention of agriculture itself. Dating to approximately 9,600 BCE, this mountaintop sanctuary represents the world's oldest known monumental architecture. The name means Potbelly Hill in Turkish, an unassuming title for what may be humanity's first temple. What makes Göbekli Tepe revolutionary isn't just its age. It's what it tells us about who built it: hunter-gatherers, people we once thought were too primitive to create such complexity. For decades, archaeologists believed civilization followed a simple formula. First came agriculture, then settled communities, then organized religion and monumental architecture. Göbekli Tepe flips the script entirely. Here, religion came first. The site consists of multiple circular and oval enclosures, each dominated by massive T-shaped limestone pillars. Some stand over 16 feet tall and weigh up to 10 tons. To put that in perspective, moving one of these monoliths would require the coordinated effort of hundreds of people. But it's what's carved into these pillars that truly captivates. The stone surfaces are covered with elaborate reliefs of animals, not the domesticated creatures of later civilizations, but the wild, dangerous fauna of the ancient Near East. Foxes prowl across the limestone. Vultures spread their wings in poses that suggest both flight and threat. Lions bare their teeth. Snakes coil around the pillar's edges. Wild boars, gazelles, and aurochs, the massive wild cattle now extinct, populate this stone menagerie. Scorpions, spiders, and abstract symbols complete the iconographic program. Many pillars feature multiple animals in what appears to be deliberate arrangement. On Pillar 43, perhaps the most famous, we see a vulture with outstretched wings positioned above what appears to be a human head or skull. Below this, a scorpion curves its tail. The composition seems intentional, narrative. The T-shape itself is significant. The tops likely represent human heads, while the carved arms and hands on many pillars suggest these stones are stylized human figures, silent guardians, or perhaps representations of ancestors, deities, or mythical beings. No two pillars are identical. Each is a unique work of art, carved with stone tools by people who had never seen bronze or iron. The precision and artistry are remarkable, challenging everything we thought we knew about the cognitive and organizational capabilities of pre-agricultural societies. So what did these animals mean to the people who carved them? Recent research has begun to decode the symbolic language of Göbekli Tepe, and it reveals a sophisticated cosmology. Vultures appear repeatedly throughout the site, often in prominent positions. In the ecology of death and rebirth, vultures are nature's recyclers, transforming death into sustenance for life. Many researchers believe they represent a psychopomp, a guide for souls transitioning between worlds. This interpretation is strengthened by evidence of excarnation practices, where bodies were exposed for vultures to consume, allowing the soul to ascend skyward. The vulture likely symbolizes the celestial realm, the sky, death, and spiritual ascension. The predators tell a different story. Lions, leopards, and foxes were the apex hunters of their environment, embodying power, danger, and the untamed forces of nature. They may represent the earthly realm, the wild spaces humans had to navigate and negotiate. These weren't animals to be dominated, but powerful beings demanding respect. Snakes and scorpions occupy a liminal space, creatures of the earth who can deliver death, linking the terrestrial and spiritual realms. In many ancient cosmologies, serpents represent transformation, renewal through shedding of skin, and hidden knowledge. The abstract symbols remain more mysterious. Some researchers suggest they may represent constellations or astronomical phenomena. One controversial theory proposes that Pillar 43's imagery depicts a cosmic catastrophe, possibly the impact event linked to the Younger Dryas climate period around 10,800 BCE. Taken together, the animals create a symbolic map of the cosmos as hunter-gatherers understood it. The sky realm of birds and spirits, the earth realm of predators and prey, and the underworld of serpents and transformation. Göbekli Tepe wasn't just a building, it was a three-dimensional representation of the universe itself. The circular arrangement of the pillars may have created sacred spaces for rituals connecting these realms, places where the boundaries between human, animal, and spirit worlds could be crossed. The existence of Göbekli Tepe fundamentally challenges the narrative of human civilization. Traditional archaeology taught us that agriculture came first, creating food surpluses that allowed for specialized labor, which eventually led to organized religion and monumental architecture. Göbekli Tepe proves this sequence wrong. Here, monument building came first, possibly even driving the development of agriculture, not the other way around. Consider what building this site required: quarrying and moving 10-ton stones without draft animals or wheels, coordinating hundreds of workers, feeding them during construction, and maintaining the ceremonial center over centuries. This demands social organization, leadership hierarchies, and shared belief systems, all before farming. Archaeological evidence shows massive feasting events occurred here. Thousands of animal bones, predominantly gazelles and wild cattle, suggest regular gatherings where hunter-gatherer groups came together. Some estimates suggest up to 500 people might have assembled for ceremonies. The location itself is strategic. Positioned in the Fertile Crescent, Göbekli Tepe sits in a region rich with wild grains and game. But sustaining regular large gatherings would have strained wild resources. This may have created the impetus for controlling and eventually cultivating those wild grains. In this revolutionary model, religion came first. The need to maintain a sacred center and feed periodic assemblies drove the management and domestication of plants and animals. Göbekli Tepe becomes the spark that ignited the Neolithic Revolution. Even more mysteriously, around 8000 BCE, the builders deliberately buried Göbekli Tepe under tons of soil, preserving it perfectly but concealing it from the world for 10,000 years. Why? We don't know. Perhaps the site's ritual purpose was fulfilled, or new beliefs replaced the old cosmology. Göbekli Tepe has been called the birthplace of the gods, humanity's first cathedral, the Garden of Eden. While such labels may be poetic license, the site undeniably marks a threshold in human consciousness. It demonstrates that long before cities, before writing, before pottery even, humans possessed the cognitive sophistication, social organization, and spiritual drive to create enduring monuments to their beliefs. The animals carved into these pillars speak to us across 10 millennia, telling of a worldview where humans saw themselves embedded in nature, not separate from it. Where animals were not just resources but spiritual beings, guides, and symbols of cosmic forces. And we're only beginning to understand it. Less than 5% of Göbekli Tepe has been excavated. Dozens more enclosures remain buried, holding secrets that may further transform our understanding of human history. This potbelly hill in southeastern Turkey has taught us that the human story is far more complex than we imagined. Our ancestors weren't simply surviving. They were dreaming, believing, building, and creating meaning in ways that still resonate today. In the words of Klaus Schmidt, who devoted his life to this site, Göbekli Tepe was not the beginning of civilization. It was the beginning of the path that led to civilization. And that path began not with bread, but with belief.